All right, so ladies and gentlemen, this is a blank piece of paper. Happy right here. And we are going to take some notes on areas. So you should have a piece of paper in front of you. If you don't have a piece of paper, there's some up here. Okay. So we are going to start with a couple of different things. All right. So I recommend labeling these. I'm going to put notes on area. And I'm going to put the date. This is just, I just do this so that it's easy to find. You know, like if I'm looking through and I'm like, I don't remember how to find the area of a trapezoid. You can look this up and it's a little bit easier. Okay. So let's start with something like our warm-up. Okay, so if I have, this is 2 meters by 10 meters, what is the area of this rectangle? We're going to do 2 times 10. That gives me 20 meters squared. We want to make sure to have, can you guys see in the back? If anybody's having trouble seeing, please let me know. We want to make sure that we are multiplying because we know that it is length times width or base times height. You can talk about it, is the formula for area of rectangles. Okay, we want to make sure we have what the measurement is, you know, like if it's meters, centimeters, inches, and we know that we're talking about squared. If I just said 20 meters, that's 20 meters in a straight line. Okay, if we're trying to like carpet this area, we don't want a straight line 20 meters long. That's not going to help us. Okay, all right. So what if I did this one? 7 inches by 7 inches. So that's not a rectangle, that's a what, if they're the same? It's a square, but is square the same thing? It's still base times height, or length times width, whichever way you want to talk about it. Area of a square, same as area of a rectangle. They're just both the same thing. So it's just 7 times 7, which is 49 what? Inches squared. Okay, let's talk about a triangle. Let's say I have 3 centimeters by 4 centimeters, and I want to find the area of this triangle. Who remembers what the area of a triangle is? What the formula is? Yep, it's 1/2 base times height is a triangle. Okay, so it's just 1/2 3 times 4, so that would be 6 centimeters squared. If you think about it, right, if I continued this over, that would be a rectangle. So it's half of a rectangle. That's why we divide it in half or times it by 1/2. Okay, so a triangle is half of a rectangle. So if this whole thing, I mean, it's drawn horribly, but nobody ever accused me of a great drawing. All right, let's try one more. If we've got a triangle right here that's like 10 centimeters by 5 centimeters. Make sure we're dealing with the height, not the lengths of the sides. Because this triangle, like let's say this is an equilateral triangle where all of these are 10. I'm looking from the height. Okay? So then we're just going to go 5 times 10 times 1/2 or divided by 2. Either way, remember it's still that 1/2 base times height. You could also write that as base times height divided by 2. Those are the same thing. Okay? So 5 times 10 is 50. 50 divided by 2 is 25 centimeters squared. Questions about rectangles or triangles? Okay, we're going to do a parallelogram. How am I doing pace-wise? Too fast? Too slow? Just right? A little bit too fast? Okay. Okay, this is a parallelogram, yes? Okay, parallelogram is still base times height, but this right here, that's not the height. This is the height, okay? So if this is 3 centimeters and this is 11 centimeters, you're still gonna just do 3 times 11 and get 33 centimeters squared. Okay? Just make sure you're doing the height between the two parallel lines. Okay? We can also sometimes draw this on the outside. So you might get a parallelogram. This is the same parallelogram. I'm just saying that the height might be like here on the outside, but it's the same thing. Okay. We're going to do a couple of rhombuses, a couple of trapezoids, and then we're going to be done, and I'm going to let you look at the classwork. So I am going to turn this over, unless anybody needs it for another second. Okay. We're going to look at a rhombus or a kite. I think we're going to look at a kite or a rhombus. Doesn't matter. They're the same thing. Okay, so if I've got a kite here, we all agree that's that's a kite. Okay, with a kite, it's 1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. So we have to deal with the diagonals. So if this is like A, B, C, D, I have to deal with these diagonals in the middle. These diagonals right here in the middle. So it'd be like A to C is 8 feet. And B to D is 12 feet. Okay, those diagonals right through the middle. The outsides of a kite don't matter. I need to use the diagonals to figure it out. So I'm going to go 1/2 times 8 times 12. Okay. So 8 times 12 is 96. 96 divided by 2, or times 1/2, is 48 feet squared. Okay, so this is for a kite. The nice thing about this is a rhombus is exactly the same. So if I'm given a rhombus, and a rhombus is different than a kite because the diagonal should be, the sides should all be equal. So if I've got E, F, G, H, and I've got F to H is, F to H is 10, and E to G is 5, let's say inches, we're going to do what? So again, this is a rhombus, but it should be the same equation, 1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. So we're just going to do what? 1/2 times what number? Does it matter? You could say either one of those, right? And 5. So 10 times 5 is 50. Half to 50 is 25, and that's inches squared. So rhombuses, kites, same thing. You're just going to be given the diagonals, multiply them together, divide by 2. Okay. You ready for a trapezoid? Not really. Okay. Last one, if you feel comfortable with this trapezoid, we'll be done. If not, we'll do one more trapezoid. Okay? So I've got a trapezoid. Okay, I'm going to label this trapezoid. And trapezoid, I'm given all kinds of things. I'm given like, this is 10 feet. This is 2 feet. And this up here is 6 feet. Okay? I've got all these different parts. But the formula for a trapezoid is 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times the height. Okay? This, right, it doesn't matter which one is base 1 or base 2, but they're parallel to each other. The height is the distance between the two parallel sides. So we go 1/2 6 plus 10 times 2. So we're just going to do the parentheses first. 6 plus 10 is 16. And then you could do either one. 16 times 1/2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. So it's 16 feet squared. So what do you think, guys? You ready to do some of this, or do you want another trapezoid one? Okay. The formulas are on your paper. So you do have these in front of you. You have 9 kites on the front, and it gives you your kite formula right here. And then you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 14 trapezoids on the back. Okay. So you got a calculator. You got this. I think there's enough room to write everything on here. I'm going to do mine too while you guys are doing yours. And we should be in pretty good shape. Questions about any of this? All right, I'm going to stop the recording and we can turn on the lights. If anybody missed